And besides me, as always, Raven Knight. Welcome, Raven. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Fantastic. Tonight, we're not chasing footsteps in abandoned hallways. We're not reaching into the shadows, into the dark to see what we can find. Tonight, we're stepping beyond the curtain. We're talking about the instruments, the devices that light up, the meters that spike, the frequencies that shift when the room feels different. Because every serious investigator has always asked the question, at least once: what are we actually measuring? Energy, interference, expectations, or something we don't quite understand yet. Our guest this evening doesn't just carry equipment into the field, he builds it, he refines it, he challenges how it's used and why. Johnny Vortex operates at the edge where engineering meets the unexplained, where electric meters theory intersects with lived experience, where curiosity must be balanced with discipline. And if you've ever followed our work, not just here at Darkwoods Paranormal, but through Unboxed Media, you know we believe in pulling things apart, not to destroy them, but to understand them. Unboxing the experience, unboxing the process, unboxing the questions beyond the questions. Because whether we're standing in an abandoned asylum or sitting in a studio under warm lights, the mission is the same: curiosity, clarity, integrity. And speaking of warm lights, every time we make our way down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, there's a place that reminds us what hospitality really feels like. Shaker Cigar Bar, where you're not treated like a guest, you're always welcomed home. There's something grounded about that. A place that understands presence, atmospheric, and experience. Because whether it's a restaurant, a studio, or an investigation site, the environment matters. And tonight's conversation isn't about dramatic stories. It's about mythology. It's about data integrity. About whether our tools are detecting anomalies or simply environmental noise. If you ever wondered what your EMF pod spike meant something, if you ever questioned what EMF fluctuations are evidence or interference is real, if you ever believe that paranormal deserves serious inquiry, then tonight's discussion is for you, my friend. Johnny, welcome to Darkwoods Paranormal. Thank you for being here, sir. Would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you for having me. How am I
Yeah,
supposed to follow that up? I
it's
should. That
impossible.
was
It's
very
impossible.
eloquent.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Johnny.
You're
Thank you.
so
I,
sweet.
I'm going to sound like a yokel here from here on out.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Johnny, actually, before you even go into your little Johnny Vortex introduction, I want to say thank you for coming back. We tried to have you
Absolutely.
on a little bit ago, and we had technical difficulties, so we couldn't do it. And then you were so
Graceful.
what's the word?
That doesn't bode well for me, does it? Like
Well,
you're
it was on
talking
our
me
side,
up as
Johnny.
like, oh, this tech guy, and I'm like, uh
No.
oh. Yeah,
So
all
we
my
actually
yeah, we
felt
I
bad,
wasn't here
Johnny.
last week because I screwed up all my computer stuff.
No, we actually
You
felt
know,
bad because it was on our side. And I'm like, here we're going to have a tech guy on, and we screw it up. So we apologize for that, Johnny.
What we needed you was just in,
it's all good.
in our vicinity
That's all we
when we
needed,
were
man.
trying to do our stuff.
We're all here. It's good to go now.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Johnny Vortex, Vortex Paranormal. Um, gosh, I've always been a tinkerer and a
Mhm.
builder and a solver of problems. I ended up in the paranormal field after going to one of the Anoka, Minnesota, like first time ghost hunting things. Come along with us, and just falling in love with all the gadgetry. Yeah, that's so I've kind of dedicated myself. I do paranormal gear full time now. I I I always say I'm a podcaster, but I haven't put anything out yet. So mostly I'm a builder and not not much of a talker when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, if you catch me in person at Eau Claire or something like that, I will talk your ear off about stuff.
We love that.
I was gonna say, that being said, that's where we met you.
Mm-hmm.
We met you in Eau
Yep.
Claire. And I know that Gabriel came back like after talking to you, and he said, I met the most interesting man over
Uh
here.
oh, you
Right.
are
You
you
need to
muted?
go and introduce yourself. Yeah.
Oh,
He came
there
back
you're
to me. He
coming
goes,
through.
Right.
he goes, you need to go over there and introduce yourself to Johnny Vortex and talk to this guy.
Mhm.
And I did. I did. And I thought you were very interesting. But I think when you and I were both at the Anderson House and we were both doing presentations in Wabasha, which we actually had Becky on not too long ago as well. But I actually got to talk to you, like really talk to you. And I was like, ah, this guy's cool. This
Yeah.
guy's cool. We do need him on the show. So I'm happy you're here.
Absolutely, we
Well,
are.
thank you.
So let's go from there. So you also do some
All
paranormal. Let's
right.
start with the paranormal investigating stuff,
Yeah.
and then we can kind of talk about the gadgets and stuff after that. But you also do some paranormal investigating. Like,
I
tell us
believe
about.
he refers himself as the paranormal black hole when he steps into a paranormal place, which is
Yes,
funny.
Johnny.
Why don't you tell our audience about how the paranormal acts around you?
So, part of the reason I ended up getting into gear with empirical data, empirical evidence, is because everything seems to just, I don't know if I'm boring, they just wander away, or if they're running and hiding,
Right.
or if they're standing there trying to get my attention and I'm just totally blind. Uh, but there is, in the 3 years I've been doing this, I have had one opportunity where there has been any evidence that has popped up. And I've been to the major places, Edinburgh and Boyd, a couple local places around here that people have talked about being very haunted. Uh, Down in, oh, Matthew just took us there. It's a big theater down there. And just absolutely very quiet, very nice, very good feeling places. And I was willing to pay the ghost for an interview at some point because it was just very quiet. Uh, so I had to I really rely on the gear, and the gear didn't give me anything either. So it's
Mm.
which we had a theory about that
We
earlier in
did.
the pre-show
So
that
what you're telling me,
they're
Johnny,
very
is that you
camera
scare the
shy.
ghosts themselves. I like that.
You
I
scared the
must. There's got to be some. I don't. It's like I don't think I'm that intimidating. Jeez.
That's
So
awesome.
what is the actual theory that you might have, Johnny, about why you don't get evidence when you're out, if you have one?
I got half of that, I think.
She was asking, what is your theory about when you're around doing paranormal investigations that you don't get anything? Is it something about you personally, or do you think it's your equipment?
Gotcha. I have a theory that equipment is loud. Not
Mhm.
necessarily batteries, but when the
Mm.
electricity is flowing, when it's doing work, that is that is potentially loud for spirits. They can't talk over it. They can't visualize themselves or manifest movement through it. Kind of like having a conversation in a very busy room where all the noise is coming from these devices. Part of my investigation protocol little handbook that I've been writing for like 2 years now is having a scene safe environment and a scene quiet environment. And I'm still not sure what that looks like. I haven't had any cons- consistent results or consistency there. And I always say all it's going to take is one repeatable event to break open the paranormal. If
Right.
we can get one reliable, that's why I'm waiting for uh, like if I ever end up with like terminal cancer or something, we're all going to work together So when I hit the other side, we can figure out what the rules are here. Is
Well,
there's
for the
got to be
record, Johnny,
rules for
we
this.
we hope you don't get cancer, my friend.
I
We
need
hope
to
you're
lock.
long
Yeah,
for a
I'm like
very, very,
knocking
very
on wood
long
over
time,
here.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're welcome.
Mhm.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah.
It's in the end it might be worth it just to figure out what the heck is actually going on here.
So,
But
off air, I actually had a theory, Johnny, and me and you kind of talked about that a little bit, and you actually hit on that. I think with all the investigations that Raven and I have been on, along with other teams, I've noticed the most paranormal experiences we had is when nothing was on and nothing was running, no cameras, no REM pods, nothing, and as you said, you think it's loud, and I think there might be some to that. I think that they can sense it, whether it be they can hear it because it's loud, or what it is. I think they can sense it, and that's why the most interesting stuff happens when nothing is on. Even before the investigation starts, you're walking the property, it's still daylight out, you're just trying to get the lay of the land. And that's usually, I think, because you're more open, you're not there expecting something, you're just there trying to explore the property. And I think subconsciously that opens you up to see more because I think that automatically draws things towards you because you're not already kind of heightened. You're just at a nice level pace, just looking around. In my experience, that's when I've seen the most. In fact, when we had Becky on from the Anderson house, she kind of alluded to the same thing. When, you know, during the middle of the day, they're just cleaning rooms, and that's when the most activity happens because you don't have that awareness about you. You don't have that wall, if you will, that something's going to happen. You're kind of blocking it, but you want to see it. You're just 100% open to the environment. What do you think, Johnny?
I actually volunteered and stayed an extra day and helped them clean rooms and flip the sheets and stuff.
Oh,
Just because they said that's when it's active. And
hmm,
we had a lovely paranormal free afternoon there.
wow. Well, you it's because of you,
Nothing happened.
Johnny. You scared them all.
Yeah, we were just doing our thing. I'm like, anybody? No, okay. Well,
Johnny
but
runs to the gas
yeah.
station to get a soda, and things just happen. You know?
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, it just loaded. Everything's
Right,
tensed up
right,
and waiting. I
right,
step outside, and it just
right.
explodes
You
in
walk back,
there.
and they're like, "Oh, you missed it, man." You're like, "What?" They're like, "Go to the store again." you know?
Glasses flying and stuff.
Right?
That
Yeah.
should be part of my investigation, right? I
I
just
was
leave
thinking.
for an hour,
Yes.
Right.
Let's
Right.
just
test
see what
this theory
happens.
out.
I
Right.
know that's been on some shows where they're like, okay, we got all our cameras set up. We're gonna leave for like 5 hours
Right.
and
Right.
just see what we get.
I was gonna say instead of on ghost adventures when they lock Aaron down in a basement,
Mhm.
instead of locking you in the basement, we lock you out for a while and see what happens. All right, Johnny, it's your turn to go outside for a while.
Oh wow, Johnny, the anti-paranormal beacon. So you shouldn't
Yeah.
take that title, Johnny. I'm just playing, man.
No,
That's
no.
great, brother.
So,
So
so
all
if you're
of this,
really,
but
really haunted,
You're right.
just invite me over for dinner.
Right.
You'll have a nice, calm evening. You can enjoy yourself.
So if you
actually,
want to sell the property, pay you to come and stay at the property.
Ooh,
Oh,
yes.
Johnny, we will market you, brother. That's good. That's good.
that is good. I think we
I
just
will
came
be
up
your
with a
real estate agent for the
new
day.
business.
Johnny, I love it,
Are
my
you
friend.
are you
But
haunted? Oh, Johnny, scare the
have
ghosts
you ever
away.
hunted? Johnny, let's not do that to him. I love it. But the good thing is, Johnny, is you actually build devices that
Mhm.
catches ghosts because they try to avoid you. You counter that by literally inventing your own devices. Tell us about that. That's way cool, by the way, man.
Thank you. Now I'm wondering if I need to put like a long telephoto lens and have the cameras a half a
Right,
block
right,
away or
right,
something. That's been going through my head. Like, how far away do we have to be before they can
right.
talk? The knocks are already in the other room. Is it already like 10 feet, 15 feet? How big does that circle have to be
Right.
before things go bad? But I've got a few doohickeys, that I either came up with or improved. All of this stuff came from a space of need, right? When I referenced having gone to Anoka to have my first paranormal investigation, and that's how it got me into all of this. And the first thing was looking at all the gear and going, oh, this is really neat. Hey, that's really delicate and expensive. Be careful with that. What's expensive about this, and why is it delicate? It doesn't need to be delicate. And that was one of the puck REM pods, one of the ones that you see on TV that everybody spends $300 on.
Right.
I thought, oh, this will be easy to fix. Yeah, it wasn't. It took me about a year before I was happy with my first piece. I do a little camera magic here.
Ooh, the magic starts.
This is my REM pod. I call it the VIP, the Vortex Investigation Pod, because REM pod has been, the REM pod has been, what do you call it? Trademarked by the guy that does them all for Ghost Adventures, and I got kicked off of Etsy, so I had to kind of reinvent myself a little bit. Usually there's a cap on it, but I leave the cap off so you can see in the guts of this one. This is kind of an older revision. It's got battery pack, pops right out. Got the, it's magneted in there. One of the first ones didn't have these finger holes in it. I'm on like design 7 for these things. First one didn't have any finger holes in it, and I gave it to a friend. He's like, how am I supposed to change out the battery? Like, oh, okay, back into the modeling software. Couple of the things people have talked about really liking on these is that the lights are in front. They're not on top. So you can actually set a camera in front of it and actually get your lights, or be 10 feet away and see what's going on with the lights. The other thing is the speaker is a bit buried in there, and that helps a lot. If you've ever recorded, I'm going to come back to this cam. If you've ever recorded your investigations, then with a REM pod, and you come back and the REM pod goes off, your microphones clip, you rip your headphones. Oh right. God, that's so. Sometimes it's good that you can hear it from like 4 or 5 wings down, but most of the time you're real close to it. So this is actually half as loud. It was even quieter, but one of the first pieces of feedback there was, hey, it's really, really quiet. I've got hearing loss, and I see the lights, but I don't hear anything. So I had to go back and adjust. I actually put it in the cap now with just a thin layer of plastic over it, and it's loud without breaking your microphone or your brain. So I'm constantly adjusting and figuring out new things with this VIP REM pod. It is my first piece. It's my favorite piece, and it's really what I think everybody should have several of. These are what I call investigation rugged. Part of my testing was taking one, just throwing it across the room, just see what breaks.
Right.
That's why I ended up with this extra slice where the antenna goes, because the antenna popped out once. Like, oh, that's no good. I can't sell them like that. So I figured out how to fix it, and this will never come apart again. The one I use for testing looks like it's been drugged behind the ambulance because it has. And nice. I can't get it to fail. Anytime I sell one, I tell them, if you manage to break this somehow, like if you run it over more than twice, because it'll survive more than twice being run over, send it back. I will buy it back from you and send you a new one, because I want to figure out how the heck you actually managed to break this thing. I'm a klutz.
Did you run it over? Have you run it over? Did you test it by running it over?
I can't hear you talk at all. So
she
I'm
asked
trying to keep my eye on you.
Oh, she asked
so
if you've actually been running
you.
it over. Did you actually run it over a couple times? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I've
cool.
got videos of running it over in the ambulance. I'm gonna
I
do
like
something
that.
with that footage someday, but
Right.
I'm not quite sure what to do with it yet.
Tough as a pot. I like it.
Uh, yeah, it's super important for me, because I'm a klutz, right? It's never the ghost breaking equipment. It's somebody knocking it off a flight of stairs or forgetting it on the roof of the car. That's why it's this shape too, and
Hmm.
not round or square. 'Cause you can really get a good grip on it. So when I'm talking about it and using my hands to talk, I don't. A friend of mine had a bottle of Bullet bourbon, and he was all over the place. And man, that thing is really stuck to your hand. Let me see what that's doing there. So good, nice grip. The newer ones have a texture on them for even better grip. Um, so constantly iterating, constantly making them better, and it is by far my favorite piece of equipment. Not that I'm biased or
Right,
anything.
right, right, right.
Uh, I do make a ton of. Well, I will pause for questions.
Oh, sure. Well, so I have questions. So, what is it? What is it that it is picking up? Can you explain that? So when we have it, and I actually have one of your products. When I met you in Eau Claire, you were able to. You actually gave me one of your products to use. We still have it.
Yeah, we
It's
use
actually
it.
one of our
Oh,
favorite
awesome.
pieces and most reliable pieces that we have. And I mean that honestly. So Raven knocks things off. She throws things in the car without
I do throw things.
properly securing them. So it has
Probably
held
correct.
up
No.
to the Raven of it, which is good, Johnny. She
Gotcha.
should be your test dummy because she breaks a lot of stuff.
Raven tested.
Oh,
Got
Yes,
it.
I
yes.
want to break things. You're right. Actually, I'm all about this. I'm
Right.
in.
So
Yeah.
what is it, Johnny, that it is picking up? Because we used your product at the Anderson house. We were down in the Flying Dutchman, and we were had it by a wall, and it was picking up nothing. And then we started playing music, and then started picking up things. We moved the phone away, see if it wasn't that. It's not that, and we were just sitting there. I think Raven and I were having a drink, and then all of a sudden, it just started going off, and then we started talking to it, and it literally was responding to us. So what is it that it is picking up?
Everything gives off electromagnetic interference or
Hmm.
frequencies or just energy. And that's what this antenna picks up. It's a simple circuit, it's a theremin circuit. So it's been around since the 60s. And it's just electricity going around. And when you get close to it, your electricity interrupts that circuit. And the electronics in here pick that up and change it changes the frequency of the buzzing. This thing is actually always buzzing, but I forget if it's too high or too low for us to hear.
Hmm.
And as you get closer to it, it changes that frequency because you're messing with the circuit by
Right.
just getting close to it. And it changes it down with the electronics in it down into something you can actually hear. Uh, Something I really pride myself on is everything is uh, as far as the electrical theory and the engineering behind it is incredibly theoretically sound. Does it catch ghosts? I don't know. We're using this stuff way off label,
Hmm.
way outside of what it was intended for. So is it catching ghosts? Is it catching weird electromagnetic interference in that area? 100%. That is what it's made for and what it's really good at.
When it is lighting up, can you explain what the lights mean? Because you have four or three on that.
Four.
Four. What do they all mean?
Good question.
Oh, let's see if I turn it on and put it like put my hand over it so it's not so loud. But you'll see the
You got to go the other way. There we
first
go.
one,
Okay.
and then that one shuts off. You get the second, third, fourth, but then God, I can't do it sensitively enough. It builds up. So the red one stays lit, then it goes back to white, green, yellow, until it builds them all up into the maximum. Hey, there's something touching this
Right.
right
Mm.
on there.
Okay.
Uh, I do not have any good numbers for you, but just it starts about an inch. I don't have resistances or anything
Hmm.
like that to give you about what it's doing, how much energy it takes. But it starts about an inch away, and you can see how delicate it is,
Right.
how
Right.
close
Mhm.
something can get.
Right.
Uh, yeah,
So
So
that's
basically, for listeners or watchers, like if you have a REM pod and it's all the way lit up, that means something is legit touching it. If it's not all the way lit up, then it's something that's closer in the vicinity of it.
that seemed to be what I understood from it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
for that to interact, something has to be in contact or near it other than a person. So the only logical explanation is it's got to be something we can't see. What about there are cases
we
that I go ahead. I'm sorry, Johnny. Go ahead, man.
uh, we do have to be careful because a lot of things give off
Hmm.
EMF. If you set it next to a power strip, it's going to scream. If you're using your
Mhm.
walkie-talkies, it's going to peg it out and every
Hmm.
one of them in the area where that walkie-talkie signal is reaching. So you do have to have some signal discipline, but very generally, in order to get a strong enough signal, you got to be right next to it.
Right.
You can hit it with a bazooka of energy like a walkie-talkie, and just send all of your gear crazy. But it's outside of that, you can be fairly well sure, especially if it's sitting there, right? If something's going to give off EMF, it's going to give it off in a field and it's going to stay.
Right.
Mhm.
So
So
personally,
if
I
it's been
think
sitting there for 20 minutes and nothing,
right.
either somebody's playing with a walkie-talkie, know your environment,
Hmm.
or something's coming up and batting at it.
So one of the most sobering moments that I recall using your equipment is sitting at the Anderson house, and once again we're down in the Dutchman, and we're on the other side of the bar, and all of a sudden it just starts going off, and then we're like, "Is somebody there?" And then goes off again, and to me, it's that experience where it literally, in a way, for a moment, it shocks you that there's something there with you that you can't see. And your device allowed us to experience that, and we appreciate you allowing us to use that. Thank you.
I love those stories. Like that
Yeah.
that makes it all worthwhile, that when somebody actually catches something and has a personal experience with something I've put together,
Hmm.
that that is absolutely huge for me.
Mm.
And that's I everybody should have good gear,
They
right?
should. Right.
And that's why I keep the price so low. I
Yeah.
really don't make much money on this. The worst part is having to charge for shipping, right? If
Right.
you go on the
Wow.
website or you go on Etsy, I think they're up to $75 because it's like 20 something dollars to ship one.
Hmm.
But if you
Mhm.
catch me in person, they're $40.
Wow. That is a really
Mhm.
good
Right?
price, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a very good price.
Yeah.
So, what
When
other
you're looking
gear?
at other inferior, well,
Right.
not to call anything out, but
Right.
other gear that doesn't hold up is why it's 150, $200, or there's ones for $30 and it's nothing. It's it, I'd rather sell 100 of these and make $2 on each one than sell five of them and make a whole bunch of money.
Right.
It's just
Right.
getting it out there.
Well, that's because you're a good man, Johnny. We appreciate that about you.
I wouldn't go that far,
Well,
but I appreciate it.
so what other tools do you have you designed?
Oh my goodness. So, like I said, everything comes out of necessity. I could show, well, before we move on, a little bit more shameless self promotion. I make these things, I can do darn near any color. The purple has been so popular around here. Oh my gosh, the purple.
Right.
But
I
yeah,
want bright
darn
pink.
near any color. I just for the guys at Reaper, I just put custom text on there for them.
Oh,
They,
that's
they
cool.
get a
So
bunch
you
of
can customize them.
really custom stuff.
Well,
Oh,
that's
I
cool.
love that.
absolutely. I could do
That's
a
cool,
ton.
man.
Had a veteran who wanted one, so I the American
that's
flag
cool.
cap.
That's cool. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
But to move along on it, my so everybody runs out of battery life.
Always.
You just run out of batteries constantly,
Oh, yeah.
Or
especially
it's
if you got
sucked
5,
from
6
you,
cameras going on. You set
Right.
one up, yeah.
Yep.
You set one up on a tripod. You walk away. 40 minutes later, that little battery's done.
Right.
You
Right.
oh crap, got to come back around. That is what, and I'm gonna keep. This is big, so I'm gonna keep it on this camera. That's what this whole thing is about. Specifically, these battery packs. So this is one of my setups. I actually use the weighted round bases for a lot of stuff. It's a camera and an IR blaster. If you've got these cameras, I know a lot of folks do. This is like an 800 milliamp hour, half hour battery. The IR blasters last longer, but you can charge them on the fly. I'm like, okay, we all have battery packs that you try to set them down, but your cable ain't long enough, it's hanging there, or you're trying to like balance it on something or stick it in the radiator where you get the camera, and it's really fraught, right? So I'm like, okay, I ended up with a ton of these Anchor power packs at a price where I'm like, no, there's no way these are real. But I popped one open, and Anchor board, Anchor battery. These turns out they're a lot cheaper when you buy a couple hundred of them at a time. And it's amazing what the markup on these things is in the store. It's like $35 if you
Right.
walk into Target to buy one. I ended up getting them for $10. They're like, oh,
That's not bad.
I can make something people can actually afford with this.
Right.
So that's what these. It's a sleeve, is what it is to discount my own work, but it's got the 1/4-inch female receiver in it, i.e., the same thing that is in the bottom of your cameras,
Right.
and the same thing that is the male end for your tripod. I have neglected to bring one out here. I'll bring this back around and just spin it off the top.
Okay.
Everybody's tripod has that little threaded rod sticking up,
Right.
and everybody's camera, whether it's a stationary camera, a video camera, or a lot of phone holders, have the little hole in the bottom for it. Where is that? There. That little guy.
Right.
You know, we're all super familiar with that kind of stuff. These are meant to go right onto it and just hold everything nice and tight. Now, part of it is an adapter to hold your camera. So I'll spin this one off here to show you what I got going on. Try to not do it off a camera. So obviously you put it on your tripod, you put your camera on there, and you connect it with your cable. Now you got 10,000 plus milliamp hours of power. But it's not just for tripods. It connects to the bottom of your device. So now you've got 10 times, 12 times more portable power
That's
than
smart,
you did
Johnny.
previously.
That's smart, sir.
It comes, you can spin it on whichever way you need. I prefer
Right.
it out the back so you can read what's left of the battery and it doesn't get in your way. It's actually not bad to carry around like this. Instead of having it in your pocket, you set your camera down, walk away, rip out the cable, that kind of stuff. It just comes with you, or it sits nice and solid on your tripod. You think it would get tippy, but these actually aren't heavy enough to do that. Especially with a tripod where there's extra legs. Even the weighted base ones, they don't tip over. One of the coolest pieces about this is you get them stacked up, right? And what if you only need one device for like the next 17 hours, right? Oh, thought I had the cable out here for it, but I guess not. Can I? the USB-A out from one and into the C of the other, and you can
Right.
daisy chain them. It's
Oh.
USB, so you lose like 10% between the two, but you get these things stacked up 4 or 5 high, right? And all of a sudden, you got 2 days of battery life for your camera, especially if you're leaving it out there for, you got a couple day investigation at Edinburgh. You go leave a camera facing the building, all the windows out front, and you just leave it there for a couple of days.
Hmm.
You can stack these as many high as you want, just USB-C to A, daisy chain them together.
That's
It's
cool, man.
super
That's very
versatile,
cool.
and I will, again, born a necessity, right?
Right.
Just always
Absolutely.
running out of power.
Right.
I sell these things for $25.
Oh wow, Johnny.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
That really is.
It's
It's amazing.
like I said, I get the packs for I got the packs for $10. I print these things. You can see just how thick the plastic is
Oh
on
sure.
that.
Look at that.
And there's a reason for that. It's again so you can run the darn thing over.
Right.
If you know anything about 3D printing, you can choose how much plastic is in between the edges, basically, the infill percentage. I've found this works best if you have 4 solid layers on each side and then a 20% infill. Gives it just, you won't ever be able to squish it with your hands, but if you run it over, you get just this little bit of squish and it keeps your battery from exploding.
No
And
twin
Wow.
I
batteries.
probably
Yeah.
spent $40 on filament just testing that. Like,
Right.
okay, 10% crunch, nope, too little. 40%, no, it puts all the force straight through to something else. The battery will give eventually. You want the pack to be just before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another thing you can drop down a flight of stairs and it'll bounce instead of bouncing the battery inside the case.
That's cool.
Wow. That is really
That's
cool.
And if
That
you
is
don't
really
like
cool.
that textured look, I do them in smooth, but these tend to scuff pretty easy.
Mhm.
So I really like the textured design. And those are 10,000 milliamp hour. It's these as I read right off the power bank. It's fast charging, all of that power PD spec, blah blah blah. So you can connect your phone to it and get that fast charging going. If for some reason you get a camera that supports it, USB-C, USB-A. I haven't found a better pack yet.
That's very cool, Johnny. And that's necessity because when you are out, investigating, your batteries suck, man. They mean something's draining it. You're relying on everything. Some places don't have the ability for you to charge and plug in, so you do need to bring your own batteries, and that's fabulous, man. That's cool. I like it.
Even if there is a place to plug in, like Edinburgh, right?
Hmm.
Edinburgh, I it's never where you want to put the camera. The
Right.
plugins are always in the middle of the hallway. I don't want it in the middle of the hallway. Like,
Right.
does anybody have a 30-foot extension cord? No? Okay, well, guess we use battery packs.
I like that, man.
Yeah. Right now I'm working on, somebody wanted a 12-volt battery pack for those IR blasters that are
Yep.
the big fellas that are 12 volt. So I'm
Mhm.
working on that next to get that much voltage out of something. Just always working, always trying to find the next really helpful thing. I am running into the problem though where it's too cheap. People are like, that can't be real, that can't be good.
Right.
But anybody who's ever like, I sell stuff best in person, like it's 1940. As soon as somebody gets a hand on stuff, I I imagine I can talk about it with the VIPs. Over at Quantum Con here in Minnesota last year, I met Adrian Lee and his
Oh,
tech
I
guy.
know him.
And
Mhm.
okay, yeah, REM pod. I'm like, here, check it out. And I went, yeah, before prices went weird, $50.
Mm-hmm.
And they both whipped out their wallets, and each one of them handed me a 50.
Mm-hmm.
They went from, oh, okay, another REM pod to, oh, yeah, okay. They saw the value in it right away.
Right.
And anytime I show up to an event, it's the Anderson House, I'm out of everything by Friday. By like Friday at 2 p.m. Everything is gone. This year, I a little heartened. I'm going to get a big head. People were showing up like early to just make sure see if I had anything left, because the first year I got blindsided really bad. Just everything just gone, and it was Friday, and I'm like, I got nothing. I have an empty table. Good luck.
That's a good problem to have, Johnny. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I have to sit and make a bunch of stuff for this coming Wednesday when I'm going to be doing the live. Oh no, now my brain's blanking, and it's going to be. I am very excited. If my brain could remember, it's with Greg on his radio show, but they're doing a live thing in Anoka.
Oh.
The Ghost
And
Box.
I just can't
Ghost
remember
Box
the
Radio.
name of the place, but they're doing a live radio thing.
So
Yeah.
you also are working on a spirit box, right? Our death bell. Is that what it is?
Oh, the Dead Bell.
Yes.
Yes, it has the bell.
I've always been kind of fascinated
death
with the
bell.
death bell, Johnny. I'm not quite sure why. Where did we experience the death bell at? Where was that? It was in Illinois or Arkansas?
No, I'm trying to remember where the first time we did, but it wasn't Arkansas. It wasn't. I can't
It
quite
must have been
remember.
it must have been Illinois when we were there. And I
And
thought it
we-
was very
oh,
interesting, Johnny,
Catalina.
because it kept on
Mm.
it kept on dinging and I didn't understand the technology. So as you showcase your product, can you explain what it does?
Gotcha. So the classic dead bell uses a PIR sensor, like is in your motion lights, like out on the garage. It literally just detects motion.
Mhm.
A lot of the companies you buy them from, they're using basically a REM pod EMF sensor in it, which is no good because you got REM pods for that. So the classic dead bell uses a PIR sensor.
Okay.
Now, the problem with PIR sensors is they're meant to come on and stay on for a certain amount of time. And then they shut off, and it takes a while, 10, 15 seconds, before it'll come on again. So you get this, you get some movement, and it sits there and just ding, 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 over and over again for 10, 15 seconds, ring, and then stops. And then you're like, anybody home? Anything? And you get nothing because it's got a 15-second, 20-second cooldown. So I actually ended up searching for a long time, and I'm not sure if I've got a loose one in here or not. No, I do not. For a PIR sensor, a friend of mine is okay with Chinese, and he ended up digging through Alibaba and calling places, and we found an adjustable sensor. So it's literally as delicate as it'll go. It only dings for 1 second, and then it's got a 1 second cooldown. Without getting into micro soldering, it's the best I could do. I don't have some of the. I was asked to fix a couple once, which is how they got on my radar, and I couldn't fix them because there was no way they were going to work in the first place. One of them used a little vibrating metal bullet to make the bell ding instead of the hammer, but it was just kind of hanging in there, and you just get a ding instead of any kind of useful. And the other one just never triggered. There was something very much wrong in the circuit. So the way these work, I'll pull the top of the bell off. The way any bell works is something hits the hammer, usually this piece when you push it down, and it flops up and ding hits the side of the bell. So what do you use to make this jump, right? Because you got to find something. I use this little solenoid that when it gets voltage, it slams out and hits the hammer. Ding! A lot of other ones use a solenoid, but it's like sideways glued into the cover where they like filed a hole out and it just kind of by itself hits the side of the bell. That's really unreliable. So what I actually ended up doing was designing and printing a housing for the solenoid. And that is bolted in between the box and the bell itself. I don't use screws. I don't use wood screws, nothing like that. These are proper brass nuts and bolts. This is never going to come loose, never going to come out, and it will always hit that hammer perfectly every time. It's just one of those R&D engineering things that if you're going to have something that's moving, being taken apart, being run around, it's got to be bulletproof. So that's one of the things I always talk about is that custom design solenoid piece. And the bell still works if you ding it on your own. Mm-hmm. The ones I repaired, they were glued shut. They had hinges and stuff, but they glued them shut. When I cracked them open, I would have wanted to glue it shut too if I did that work. So one of the things I always say is I am an open book when it comes to my gear. That's why you can see inside of the top of that VIP. There's a lid on them, but that lid is not glued down. You can pop that lid out with a little bit of pressure. Same with these. I want it to be, I don't want there to be any surprises. I want you to be able to see exactly how all of my stuff works. That's why each individual component has its own space, including the battery box, which is being reused from the VIP. So you can pull it out and change out the battery. But everything is readily available, readily apparent. And this isn't even glued in, it's in there with pressure, but you can pull it out and see the wiring tracing through the bottom of it. So if somebody really wanted to copy it, they wouldn't have to look very hard to figure out how to make that work. The other part is repeatability. So I could buy these bells a dozen at a time. Turns out they're way cheaper if you buy them a dozen at a time. All of these components, like I'm reusing that from the VIPs. This little guy, it's a buck converter for voltages. They're a dozen for $5. These boxes are handmade somewhere not here. It's got a tree of life under there. But they're heavy. One of the problems I had was that the lid of this thing is this thick. And I thought, I'd just drill through it, put the sensor through there. Nope. It's thicker than the sensor is. It ended up being thicker than the sensor itself. So I had to work around that and figure that out. But this has been a 1.5-year project for these darn things, and it's not done yet. I'm not happy with it yet, and I refuse to sell it until I'm happy with it. But yeah, dead bells. PIR sensors they are PIA sensors. Really hard to get right, really hard to find the right ones, but I cracked it, and now it's just getting the manufacturer down. I say unfortunately, but people are paying a couple $100+ for these things. Unfortunately, these are going to be like $75.
Right. Which still is not a bad price.
Get the prices down.
Yeah,
Right.
no
Thank
kidding.
you.
Right.
No kidding.
I've always been dead broke, just and now I'm doing this full time. I ain't exactly rich, You know, so it's still on my mind of like, okay, how do I get this down as cheap as humanly possible?
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still working on that. But this is like my big thing right now. That's my motto is always is what haunts you, right?
Right.
And right now it's these dead bells that are haunting me, trying to get that correct.
So say there must be a lot of
Those
like
are
trial
my
and error,
three big
you know?
things right now.
Mm.
There's other stuff on the horizon. I did not bring. I'm not ready to really specifically talk about it yet, but we use EMF meters.
We're all just listening to you, Johnny. Go ahead.
Oh, I, I apologize to Raven. I have never had the experience before where I see you talk and I see like you're doing something and I get nothing, absolutely. And then 10 seconds later, I get blurp 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 blurp, blurp and I'm like, I want to be a
Oh no,
really good
you're
guest
hearing her
and
just
know
right.
what
That's
like.
exactly how it sounds, Johnny. That's
I'm the
exactly
Charlie
how
Oh
it
Brown.
sounds.
gosh, okay.
I'm the
Oh.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown
Yeah.
mom.
I
You
don't
know
want
what
to
I
be
mean?
like, I am
Yeah.
ignoring the woman on this
Right.
podcast.
That's
Sir,
okay.
would you did for her? It, like,
I will translate
I
it
don't want to
if
come
I
off
can.
like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gabriel is now my translator.
So I'm
I
like
love
trying
that
to
for
like,
me.
So, if you had one piece of equipment, Johnny, what would you recommend if people were just starting out in the field?
a REM pod.
Okay.
Absolutely a REM pod. Um, they are the most useful piece of the stuff I make. A REM
Hmm.
pod. I they are detecting things that you can't see.
Mm.
Your best gear is going to be your body,
Right.
your eyes and your ears and your experience.
Right.
But when that stuff you can't experience, that's where the REM pod comes in handy. And they're rugged, they're inexpensive, and it's just a great first piece of hardware that of what I put together. Um, everybody should have an audio recorder, so you can at
Hmm.
least try to have that evidence to bring back to somebody, rather than a ghost coming out of a wall and going, nobody's ever going to believe this. Nobody's going to believe you. Nah. You
Right.
can at least try to have something together. At the very least, everybody's got a phone they can record with.
Hmm.
I have a 2 hour diatribe about why I hate phones on investigations, but the best gear is the gear you have.
Right.
At the very least, your own eyes and ears. But if you're going that one step further, a REM pod, 100%. Um, I'm getting deeper into stuff like with the question answer. Um,
Mm.
I, I I almost said the word beans, and I'm like that ain't right. But actually, I kind of like that.
Beans.
I'm gonna call them a bean.
There you go.
Um, and it's the same idea as the dog buttons
Yep.
where they
Yes.
walk up and they're like food or whatever.
Yeah.
They can learn
Treat.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you only need one. A treat, treat,
Right.
treat, because
Right.
it's a
Right.
dog,
Right.
right?
Right.
But the idea of having, instead of EMF meters or something, or REM pods off to say, this one's yes, this one's no. What if it just said yes or no,
Right.
right?
Mm.
And I've got the electronics of it down. Something that's easily recordable, easily replayable, with long battery life, and really inexpensive. They're like two for $15.
Okay.
Now it's just designing the case and getting the. I think I'll end up triggering it off of REM,
Mhm.
off of a REM pod, mostly the guts out of there. Um, but there's also this thing in the back of my head where I'm like, oh, you could have different things you could plug into it as triggers, right?
Mm.
If you wanted to use a PIR sensor, you plug that in there. And then we're getting super complicated, and it ends up being like you could buy a 40-piece kit with all of this stuff in there. When it's really way easier to just be like, this is a yes button, this is a no button, and this is one you can record whatever you want on it. Um, but yeah, that's my newest thing that I'm really excited about, but it's not ready to show yet. Like, I really should be finishing these dead bells before I move on to new projects, but like, ooh, shiny
No.
catches
Right.
my eye,
Right.
and
Squirrel.
Right.
ooh, okay, let's work on this for like 2 sleepless days. Yeah, I got bags under my eyes for a reason. Like, ooh, hey, well,
Me
that
too,
looks like
Johnny.
fun.
Me too.
What
It's
can
all
you
good.
do with a can of Mountain Dew?
Right?
Yeah. God. Oh, are we out of time?
Yeah.
Oh,
We got all the time you need, my friend.
this is God, 8 years in the making, and I will never finish it. I don't know how to make this happen at this point. It's also upside down, but it's kind of gibberish. You can't make heads or tails of it one way or another. These are if you buy a cheap um, spirit box, it's going to be these little digital radios, right?
Mhm.
That is not what these are. These have not had their Seek circuit disabled. These are just digital radios. You go out to a site, you tune each one to an active radio station, and it stays there. Whatever that radio station is, if you only got 4 of them, you tune it to that. And the rest of the crazy guts in here are for charging, and this fella is a bunch of little sound cards. You plug each radio into one of them, plug that into a single USB cable on your computer, load into your favorite audio editing software, and each one of these records to its own track a radio station. So it records each one all at the same time, all time synced. That last piece is for your spirit box.
Okay.
So now, say you get a hit on the spirit box, as a murder or something. You can go back and like, oh, there it is, murder. What was on the radio on every active radio station at that exact second? You're recording every radio station on its own audio track,
Hmm.
time synced inherently time synced with your spirit box. So if it's like, and if there's an advertisement for a new movie and they're like, this summer, murder, like, oh,
Right.
okay, the radio picked up, the spirit box stopped for a second, because if you ever had an old cassette deck in your Pinto or something with the seek function, they stop for a second.
They
They're like,
do.
oh, you want to listen to this? No? Okay.
Right.
And it keeps going. Oh, you want to listen to this?
Right.
Hit the button if you want to listen. Oh, nope. Okay, I'll keep going. So those seek circuits are, even if you stop it, even if you disable that circuit, it's going to keep doing that, especially on the cheap ones. The SB7s are way better at that with that. They just keep going no matter what, but it will pick up radio stations every once in a while. People are usually pretty good at telling, like, oh no, that was a Menards commercial, that blipped by for a second. But if there's some question, you can go back and look at exactly what was on every active radio station. And that is either a great way to go, yeah, that was the radio, or it's incredibly compelling evidence. Because what do you hear whenever that was just a radio station. That's not anything paranormal. I got a little bit more, little bit
Evidence.
more proof, takes away
Right.
a little bit more doubt
Right.
that it was just a radio station. Could you be missing a radio station that popped in especially with AM, because
Right.
wherever the ceiling is in the clouds changes AM stations. You can pick up stuff from friggin' Alabama at 2:00 in the morning for a half
Right.
an hour. Could you be missing something? Sure, but it wasn't anything on these stations, and that's really compelling. That's a way of testing the tester.
That's very
Testing the
interesting, Johnny. I
device.
like that. I like it because it's either a way to debunk what you thought you picked up or confirm what you think you picked up. That's good stuff, man. That really is. There's a need for that.
Absolutely. And if I could figure out how to get it reliable,
Right.
and you need to know software. You need to have software. You need to know how to set it all up. It's kind of like the Xbox Connect, the
Right.
was it XB, XLS or SLS cams. You really got to know what's going on and how to set it up and work it. And those things are complicated, and the software sucks. Have you guys worked with those before, the SLS cams?
A couple times, yes. But when we usually
I
do
put one to,
things, when we usually do things, I usually rely on like the REM pods, the VIP, if you will, and also our own bodies. Of course, we try to pick up what we can on cameras and cat balls and those that stupid little tripwire stuff, which I don't. I mean, vibrations will set it off, right? Cat balls are always good, but when a car runs by and it rumbles by and depends on the foundation of the building, that'll kind of go off as well. So we always found, yep. So we've always found the human body, along with delicate equipment like yours, Johnny, are usually the best objects to bring to an investigation.
absolutely, and thank you.
Yeah,
Um, cat balls.
cat balls.
Uh, well, I should finish the XLS thing first.
Yeah.
I wrote custom software for the XLS cameras. No more installing the development kit and using their program that's like just for code snippets and how to program and stuff that's super heavy and battery consuming and stuff. I wrote a purpose built specific program just for the SLS cameras. You can download it for free at vortexparanormal.com. Please tell me how you like it, if it's working good for you, if you understand it. It takes care of the major thing of not being able to record the screen. It natively records the output
Oh, very cool.
instead of having to do a screen recorder or something
Right.
like, or put a camera on the screen.
Right.
It just records it.
That's
That
cool.
was another huge diatribe about crappy software and stuff. And eventually I'm like, okay, I could do something about this. And I learned how to program these things, how to program for these things and how to work on it. I've got a couple years of like messing around with pirate radio and pirate TV stations and recording in Python. But this was a whole different thing. And I learned a lot about programming to make this happen. And it's just, I'm really happy with it, but I can't find anybody with an SLS cam to actually try it. I built my own SLS, but I can't just be like, here, use this. The number one thing for the SLS cams, and this is the last piece I'll say on it, set it down and leave it there. Don't carry it around. They need to have a really good image of what the background is so it can tell when something isn't that background. When something walks in front of it. If you're the firmware in there just goes absolutely crazy if you move the thing. It automatically goes back into, okay, what is the new background? And it won't even try to make an image because it has no idea what it's comparing against. So it'll just go, oh crap, it moved again. Oh crap, it moved again. Okay, and it'll just keep going back and trying to establish a new thing. So they are best used by just setting it there and pointing it at something.
I like that,
So
Johnny.
Drives me nuts when you see that on TV.
I enjoy your passion about the things you create because you believe in them, and thank you for that. By the way, I really do appreciate that.
Passion, rage. You get
And a psychotic break. They're all
Just say they're
similar.
all the
It's
same
fine.
thing.
Don't worry about it.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
All three of those
the
things
cat
kind of
balls
hold-
almost broke me.
The cat balls. Tell us
things
about
are-
the cat balls.
I've got a whole YouTube video darn near ready to go. I'm terrible at editing, so I've got like hours of footage for just these cat balls.
Right.
They are amazing. They're super cheap. There's some guy on Amazon right now selling them as like a generic thing. 15 for $20. It's the cheapest I've seen them since they've caught on that we use these things. But they are as simple as it gets. It's just a quick circuit with a tilt sensor in there. And it's a little dangle that's positive.
I like it. No, continue, John. You're doing good.
It's a little positive dangle in there, and when it tilts, it touches the side, which is negative.
Mm-hmm.
and that closes the circuit and makes it blink. If I was good at micro soldering, they wouldn't blink for 13 seconds straight. But that's what we get for $1.50 for a cat toy. Um, they blink for 13 seconds. If you everybody sets them straight up and down, right? You have to knock them over to get them to go off. In my video, I am banging on the desk and just shaking the darn thing, trying to get it to go, and it will not. But if you set it on its side, where this thing is where the sensor is horizontal, and you set it on its side, you can just lightly tap the desk and it'll go off. Just being aware of that changes the entire thing.
That's cool,
Do you
Johnny.
want super delicate? Do you want just those little vibrations to set it off? Or do you need a freight train to come by to set it off? And I tested at different angles. It is either, kick it down the hallway or just breathe near it. There's no middle ground there. And just knowing that changes how you use these things and how you set them up. And nobody's done this work, as far as I can tell, about really learning how these things work and how they're put together and how to use them. So that's what my video is about with these. And now that I understand more about them, I can accurately use them. My big grand scheme is to 3D print a little dot that you can put on the bottom of it, and it'll keep it horizontal so it doesn't go rolling away or come off. So
Like a
then they are
pivot
the
point. That's
ultimate vibration sensor.
Right.
Yeah. They're the and I had some of them, so I got 15 of them here, right? There's no quality control to these things. They're made
Right.
for cats to bat around for 30 seconds and then lose under the couch. They're
Right.
not,
Absolutely.
they're not made.
Or a chair. Yeah.
So
that's
out
the
of the-
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of the 15 of them I got, one of them had a bad button. And in the video, I've got an array of 9 of them set up, and you tap the table and like half of them go off. So half of them were way more sensitive than the
Right.
others. You really had to bang even sideways, all things being equal. So I think there's a market there for ones that have been tested and equalized. Like when you're buying, my goal is so that when when you buy a 3-pack from me, you know that they are all the same sensitivity and that they all work. General basic function test.
That's
And
cool.
that they're
Johnny.
all the same
Quality control, my
sensitivity.
friend. Quality control. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that little dot, you can set it on its side or on its top, and it's not going to roll. It's not going to go anywhere. But I've got a dirty mind. I'm not sure what I want to do. What the 14-year-old in me wants to do is get a little velour bag and sell Johnny's balls and sell them 3, but put 3 of them in a package.
Right.
So
Right.
you get
You should
3
do
of
that.
them, and they are.
It's good. It's good marketing.
You-
I would do that.
You know, yeah. You know when you're buying Johnny's balls that they have been well handled, they've
Yes.
been tested.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've had some time on them. They've been
Right.
warmed up good.
They work.
Play with
And
Johnny
then that begs
balls.
the question,
They
we
have
get
been
into-
handled equally. I like that.
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic.
Johnny-
Well tested, well traveled.
How do people find you? You have a great passion in what you do. You obviously put a lot of work in research in what you do, and you put a lot of quality in it. So where do people find you to buy your products?
Honestly, the best way is to find me on Facebook, Vortex Paranormal, or my personal account is just Johnny Vortex Paranormal, and message me. You can buy it on Etsy at Vortex Paranormal if you really want that, like this transaction is guaranteed kind of thing.
Right.
But
right.
you're going to pay an extra $15 just for Etsy fees.
Right.
You know, if you can trust me a little bit, we could bring that price way down just by not having to pay Etsy. They're on eBay as well. Same thing. you want that assurance that you're if something goes wrong, you're going to get your money back, blah blah blah. I can assure that all I want, but you don't know who I am.
You're
So
Johnny
if you want
Vortex,
that
my
eBay
friend.
assurance, that yeah, if you want that eBay assurance, you want that Etsy assurance, I can definitely sell you through that. Um, if you're local in Minnesota, I get all over the state. I can
Right.
drop one off. We can save shipping.
There you go.
So it's Etsy, Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well. My OnlyFans has yet to launch, but I'm working on that. Uh, I somebody over here, and they're just like, don't mention the OnlyFans. Like Johnny's
Please,
balls launching on
please,
OnlyFans.
please mention the OnlyFans. Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh
Oh,
God,
it's good
I
stuff.
will put together an OnlyFans, and it'll just be me bitching about like phone stuff, and
Do it.
it'll be nothing any kind of.
Love it,
I'll
man.
have one
Whatever
more
works.
button unbuttoned on my
There, there you
cutoff.
go.
That'll be the
There
only
you go.
difference.
I like it, Johnny.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm on all that stuff all the time. Feel free to say hi and chat about stuff. I'm always looking to learn about new gear, learn about new stuff, and answer questions. All this stuff came from other people going, "Hey, have you seen this before?" Like, no, I don't get out much.
Right.
So definitely strike up a conversation.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate you. Raven, before we start leaving the internet tonight, we have anything going on?
Oh, we do. We
We
do.
do.
We do. Would you like to hear about
Yeah.
it?
Continue, please. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, Chris.
Yeah.
So actually, we are headed south, which makes me very happy. We're headed south. We'll be in Eureka Springs very soon, actually
Yep.
next weekend.
Eureka
We will be
Springs.
yes, I'm very, very excited. Crescent Hotel,
Yeah.
first
Crescent
time
Hotel.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Crescent. So we do have a lot of things coming out of that, a lot of surprises for people, so they can. I don't really want to divulge too much about next weekend
Divulge.
because
That's right.
divulge. It's a good word,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Let's keep our
Um,
fans in the dark because that's great marketing. I like that. No, I
great
like that.
marketing.
It's a surprise. But we will
Well,
not be live this Thursday.
that's not a thing. We're not,
We will actually be en route through Thursday night on our way down to Arkansas where the weather is much nicer than it is here. Is that what you're trying to say, Raven?
that was exactly what I was trying to say.
Oh,
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Well,
It's my
tonight,
interpreter tonight.
well, you're welcome. Tonight wasn't about flickering lights. It wasn't about shadows in the corners of a room. It was about the space between signal and story, and Johnny did a wonderful job with that. About what happens when curiosity meets collaboration. Look at that. Johnny, thank you not just for your devices you build, but the discipline you bring to a field that despites the discipline that it needs. There's nobody that seems to really care about the consumer in a field like the paranormal, and you're here, and I appreciate that. Because if we're going to investigate the unexplained, we owe it in respect of doing it correctly. Thank you, Johnny, for that. At Darkwoods Paranormal, we don't just chase noise, we examine it, we question it, and sometimes we unbox it. I want to thank everybody, especially you, Johnny, for joining us tonight. We will be seeing you on this Sunday, and we'll have a couple special pieces that will go out next week. Thank you for joining us. Johnny, if you don't mind just hanging on a little bit
I look
longer.
forward
Thank you.
to it.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
No problem.